Hi everybody, my name is Nicole.
My name is Isela.
And this is Muchachalacas.
Cheers! Okay, welcome to episode 3 of our podcast. Today, I'm so excited for this episode.
I know, me too. I'm so excited.
This was like one of the first topics that I feel like we thought of when we were
yeah
the podcast.
Yeah.
Because it was like one of the things that really, I feel like was the basis of our friendship.
Yeah, this is like one of the things that actually made us friends to begin with. So it's very important to us.
Yeah, we're talking about being fangirls.
And fangirl culture. We're talking about we like trauma bonded so hard over fangirling, I guess.
We did, for real. Fangirl culture, what it was like growing up being a fangirl, all of that.
The OG Twitter.
We're gonna get into it.
Yes. So, Isela, when was the first time you discovered that you were a fangirl?
When I think about, like, the beginning of being a fangirl, I feel like I go back to, like, 2012, 2013. Like, I was 13. So, like, literally the beginning of teenagehood.
Yeah, me too. I was, like, a preteen.
Yeah, preteen though.
A tween.
I was a tween. I was dabbling in the internet.
Yeah, me too. You know, because I think that's when YouTube was starting to kick off,
yeah,
right?
like British YouTube.
Yes.
Like the OG YouTubers.
The OG YouTube.
Zoella,
like, what, like, O2L.
Tyler Oakley, O2L.
Yes,
like, all of
everything.
them. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when Vine was also a thing, right?
And I think, too, that's just, like, when the internet, like, influencer lifestyle, like, actually became a thing.
Yeah, like, before that, it wasn't a thing to be like, oh, I'm a content creator.
Yeah, because that, like, wasn't a job.
That wasn't a job, yeah. Like, these people made content, but they still had, like, a whole job.
Yeah, they were real people who just, like, did the internet.
Yeah, yeah, like us right now.
Yeah. I'm, like one of us.
I'm a corporate girly. But...
I'm like, no comment. Like, we're working right now.
This is our job now. I wish.
I know.
But
someday.
Anyways.
So yeah, I flash back to like 2013-ish. Like,
yes.
Really, I know One Direction became like a thing in like 2010, but I feel like I didn't really get involved until like 2012, 2013, because I was probably in like 6th or 7th grade. So
yeah,
somewhere.
I think I was, because you were 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're a year apart. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I remember going into middle school, I already knew who One Direction was. Obviously, back when I was in elementary, it was like the Belieber stuff, you know?
The Bieber fever swept the nation.
Oh my god, and I was so a part of that. But
no, real.
I feel like it wasn't as strong as when One Direction 5 Seconds of Summer came out, because I loved Justin Bieber, but it wasn't like it was when One Direction 5 Seconds of Summer came out.
Because I feel like boy bands weren't, like, they were a thing, but it was like the Y2K boy bands. Like, that was a completely different vibe.
Yes.
Because they had matching outfits, matching dance moves, matching, like, everything.
Yeah,
One Direction didn't have any of that.
No. And I feel like 5 Seconds of Summer, they were more like rebellious in that sense.
Oh my gosh, if you were a 5 Seconds of Summer fan, but
you
not
thought you were
One
so hardcore.
You were an alt girl.
Yeah.
You were wearing
Call me out.
No, real. I was there too.
No, and I feel like at some point I did become more of a 5 Sauce girl than a One Direction girl.
To this day, I'm still a 5 Sauce girl over.
Yeah. I think it started with 5 Sauce, and then, well, for me, it was like, I think I knew about One Direction, and my friends were all really, really obsessed with them, and I was into them because of them. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like an obsession like that. Mm-hmm. And then I think I remember the first song I ever heard of 5 Seconds of Summer was Disconnected.
So good. What a good song to get you into the band.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that like them and One Direction were friends or anything. Because I think they had been on tour once before. Because they went on tour for like 2 years or something, right?
Yeah, they did like One Direction Take Me Home tour together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think it was that song where I discovered them and I was like, who is this? This is a good song.
Wow.
Yes, I was like, who? And I think I remember it was like when I was starting to rebel and stay up until like 4 a.m. and stuff. So I heard it like in my a.m. hours, and I was like taken over, you know? I was like, whoa. And I feel like I still didn't get super into them until freshman year of high school, because I think that was halfway through the year of my 8th grade year.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I was like about to go into high school, and then I got to high school, and that's when it like full on like over that like that summer between 8th grade and freshman year. That's
down a rabbit hole.
Ooh, yeah.
I'll say that when One Direction started, I was a One Direction hater. Absolutely was not into it. I don't know what it was. I was just like, they're so annoying. But like deep down, I knew I liked them. But I had this like front to keep up at school. And I was like, I cannot be seen liking them. And then I remember like I told my whole family I didn't like them. But like I did, you know? And I felt it. And like I had the posters in the magazines.
You were like, I can't throw these away. It's like your guilty pleasure.
Hiding them somewhere in my room.
It's like your secret stuff.
Yeah, truly. My box under my bed. And I was like, had to keep it really on the DL because I had created this whole persona of being a hater. And I was like, well, how am I ever going to come back from this? And then I remember they were showing the movie on TV, like on one of the movie channels. And I was like, and I was like, I'm just gonna watch it.
Just 5 minutes
check
of
it out. And then like I was recording it, and my brother was like, what is that? And I was like, my cover's been blown.
This reminds me, I don't think you've ever watched him, but like Daniel Sloss is a comedian. Mm-hmm. And I think in one of his shows, he's talking about how he loves like fighting with people about his opinions, because he's like, I know not all of my opinions are right. And then he's like, and if I fight with somebody and they change my mind, I'm still going to say that they're wrong because I already said what I said, and I have to think that I'm right for at least 3 weeks, and then I'll let it go. And I was like, I understand.
That is so real. So then after I got caught watching the movie, I was like, all right, I'm just going to be out.
I'm a directioner.
Like, and it's like, I heart One Direction.
It's just Harry's face. I had a shirt like that. I remember it was back when like Delius was a thing. You remember when Delius was like a store at the mall?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a store called like Delius, and all of the people in my town loved to shop there. And it was like,
is it like Claire's vibes? But like for older kids?
Think PacSun, but a little bit cheaper, I think.
Okay.
It was definitely
aimed for tweens, or
yeah, it was like definitely aimed for like young teenagers.
Okay, I love that. I feel like I'd still shop there today.
And I think I was there when it was closing or something like that, and they were selling this one shirt, and it was just Harry's face,
love
like
it.
Just Harry's face. And it was like $10 or something, and I was like,
what a steal.
And that was the first piece of merch that I like ever bought. I remember that was like in 8th grade.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I wish I still had that shirt.
What'd you do with it?
I don't know. Sometimes things just disappear from my closet.
I hope someday you just find it again.
I hope so too, because it was insane, and it was like fetus Harry.
I was gonna ask you which era. Like,
yeah.
Like big curly haired Harry.
Yeah, like think oh my gosh, what's that music video?
What Makes You Beautiful?
No, the one that they released like after that.
Gotta Be You. Like when they're on the train, like
yeah.
That song is so fall vibes.
I know.
I was thinking about it the other day and how like One Direction is so fall/winter coded to me in my head, because I felt so Pavloved by them, because all of their albums were released in like late November. So it's like I feel like in November I have to listen to them, because
You're
it's just like
conditioned
in me to listen to them at all times.
I feel like, I don't know if I feel the same thing, but there's definitely like one part of the year where I listen to Five Sauce for a very long time. I think it's always over the summer too. And I think it's because that's when I became obsessed with them, but now I'm just like, I have to listen to them. Yeah, basically. It happens.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's so real. I feel like during this era too, Tumblr picked up. I don't know if it was like a thing before, or if it was not nearly as popular.
Yeah.
I don't think I actively used it at the time, but I did like when I got like into my older teens, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of cool.
I for sure knew that Tumblr was a thing before everybody else was using it because my cousin always used it. My cousin was always on Tumblr. But Tumblr before, like, the Tumblr girl era was basically for fandoms. Like, people would talk about fandoms, but it wasn't, like, it was for, like, books
supernatural, like, right?
Yeah,
like,
it was...
Doctor Who.
Yes!
Those kinds of things,
Exactly, yes. Oh, I love Doctor Who.
It was
so
like,
nerdy of me, but...
It wasn't, like, band fandoms. It wasn't.
And it wasn't like
fandoms.
Lana Del Rey, like everybody's.
It was before that.
Everybody wanted to be depressed, you know, smoking cigarettes, you know.
But that era, I feel like 5 Seconds of Summer had such an impact on that era too, because it helped with the alt punk.
Yes, that's when everybody wanted to be like depressed and like emo.
Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, like that whole vibe. Yeah, that was my teen years.
To this day, I wish we could go back. I'm excited for that fashion to like cycle back.
Me too. I love it. I love it. Clearly, as I'm wearing a flannel shirt to this day. Oh, we haven't shown off our merch.
Yes, we dressed for the occasion.
I have my 5 Sauce shirt on.
And I have my Louis shirt, my Louis lyrics.
Yeah, I was gonna wear my flannel around my waist, but I didn't think you guys would be able to see that, so...
and we have our blankets. I have a 5 Sauce blanket.
And I have a hairy blanket. But yeah, I knew that Tumblr was a thing. I just didn't personally have a Tumblr.
Yeah.
I would always just, when I was with my cousin, we would scroll through Tumblr. But yeah, so I remember Tumblr. And then when everybody else started getting on Tumblr, that's when I like caved in and I was like, okay, I'll make a Tumblr. But my Tumblr was very different from my cousin's. My Tumblr consisted of like 95% 5 Sauce.
As it should.
And yeah. And then like the other like 5% was bookish things and then like
everything else.
Like the Tumblr girl aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that though. Because I feel like that so sums up the time.
It does. Like 2014 was a fucking fever dream.
It was an era, and it was such a good era.
I know. I'm so happy that I was part of that because it was so iconic.
And like, how do you explain that?
Yeah, like how do you explain what the Tumblr era was
without trying to like yeah, we were black. Like yeah, we had rips in our jeans, but like. The actual aura of it.
No,
the actual feeling of being...
Like, being there, you know, like getting your first pair of black skinny jeans, like your first flannel. I remember the first time I asked my mom if I could get a flannel. She looked at me like, why do you want this? And obviously there was no flannels in the girls section because this was like fresh. This was like...
It was an era.
It was an era, you know, we were trendsetters. Yeah, so I remember that the flannels were not anywhere near in like the girls section.
Yeah.
And so I had to go to like the men's section and they had ran out of red flannels. And I was so sad. So I ended up getting like a blue flannel.
Which is same vibes but not really.
Yeah, it's like... No, well, I wanted. Anyway, so I got my flannel, I got my black skinny jeans, and I remember I was always on the hunt for like graphic tees or like band tees.
I had no business wearing like Nirvana shirts. Like I knew everyone knows who Nirvana is, but 13-year-old me did not know their songs. Heard them obviously, but like if someone and people did, oh yeah, what's your favorite Nirvana song? And I'm like, bro, it's just a shirt.
And I think that's where that started because a lot of people were like
just wearing band shirts.
Yeah, because of the trends.
And that's a thing now too, to get like vintage band tees and wear them. Yeah, like, not even knowing.
But I think because we were so smart or whatever, if we were gonna wear a band shirt, we at least had a few songs prepared, or at least I did. You know what I mean? I mean, I did.
I didn't even think about it because I didn't know it was going to be a thing like, oh yeah, well, what's your favorite song?
I definitely did, and I remember always being on Twitter and people talking about that, or like shaming people who were like, you shouldn't wear band t-shirts if you don't know what you're talking about. Or like
over it.
Yeah,
but
I was like, okay, maybe I should learn at least a few songs.
In like 2075, when I see someone walking around wearing a 5 Seconds of Summer shirt, I'm like, and what's your favorite song?
Yeah, I'm like, who's your favorite? But yes, I remember, I did listen to Nirvana. Like, I remember going so far that I remember being like, oh, well, what bands are they inspired by?
Oh, yeah.
And I would always listen to those bands as well, because I was like, bro, if I ever meet them, I gotta be cool.
Yeah, I have to know.
I have to be cool.
I hit the Blink-182, like, all-time low, like, those bands.
Oh, me too.
Loved them. Still love them, too. Like, I still love Blink-182 to this day, but, like, I don't know. I didn't listen to, like, some of them. Like, the ones that they actually had, like, shirts for, like Nirvana. Like I said, everyone knows Nirvana's music, but little old me was not expecting to be in a Bookman's at 8 p.m. and some old man say, well, what's your favorite song? And I was like, and then he filled in the answers for me, and I was like, okay. Wow. I was with my dad, and I was like, that's humiliating. I'm never wearing this shirt again.
Yeah, I remember always being prepared, no matter what, because if I ever actually if I ever actually met any of them, I wanted to be like, I also love Green Day. And I did. I always liked Green Day, but I think when they were into it, I was like even more reinforced to like them.
You're like, no, Luke, we like the same music.
I promise you. No, but I remember there was so many 5 Sauce fans that would go under like the OG Green Day, because I remember how they did a cover of American Idiot, and there was like,
which I still love.
Yes,
so good.
Yes, but there was so many girlies, 5 Sauce girlies, that would go under the OG like Green Day video, and they would be like, "Stop copying 5 Sauce."
That's
I was
cringe.
like, yeah, like I'm like, girl,
that is so
educate
embarrassing.
yourself. And then Twitter was like blowing up, like, you guys, they made a cover of this song. This isn't their song.
Kind of like more current day, when they covered Killer Queen by Queen. So good, and I love that cover. And like enough to the point where I did a whole assignment about it in one of my classes, and I was like, the cover is just amazing. And my teacher was like, I'm gonna give it a listen, and I was like, yeah.
Do that. You should.
So good.
Yes, but I do remember that, like, the girlies being crazy.
They just really, really loved them enough to the point to be like, no, they invented it, or like something silly like that.
We would defend them to the ends of the earth, like, regardless.
And
I think
it really, it's like funny to look back on it, because it's like, was it that deep? Maybe not.
It really was
in the moment.
In the mind of my 14-year-old, 15-year-old self, it was life or death, you know? It was this or, I don't know, the end of the world.
But like, me being 14 years old, I would have done anything for them. Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
And like, okay, this is my funny story I wanted to tell you. So, flashback to, let's see the date, October 10th, 2014, okay?
So exact.
So yeah, it's very specific. So 5 Seconds of Summer already had their first album out. I was in 8th grade. And do you remember that one really iconic photo shoot that they did where Luke's like holding the watermelon?
Yes! Yes, I remember that.
So someone had made like a desktop wallpaper of just their eyes from that, and I was obsessed with that picture. So I made it like my background for my school computer, like in the classroom, and so everyone could see it all the time, and I was like, yeah, it's no big deal, like it's 5 Seconds of Summer. And yeah, so I would get judged for that screensaver all the time. And I was just like so into 5 Sauce at the time that when they released the music video, I was like, this is everything. This is exactly like my entire life.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I was in computer class, and we had this assignment, and it there was an assignment, and we had to make a brochure about a specific topic. So I was like, duh, I'm gonna do 5 Seconds of Summer. So like the cover page, and keep in mind, I'm a purple girly. Like everything I do has to be purple. You know, that's just me.
Your whole personality.
Yeah. So it was a purple background, and there was like a bunch of pictures of 5 Seconds of Summer. It was like how they were formed. They toured with One Direction, like all of this,
the whole thing,
all of this history about them. And I remember like I put a link to the Good Girls music video because I was like, and please watch their new music video here.
Yes.
And I got like a 90 on the thing. So I hit all the requirements on the rubric. I did every like hyperlink. I did colors. I did personalization. Every single thing was checked off. And I got a 90 for lack of creativity. And I was like, so you're saying you don't have taste? You don't like good music? Like, I was mad. I was so angry because I was like, this is an A+ assignment, and I know it. And it was just really good. I wish I still had like
the brochure.
Yeah, I wish I could see what it looked like now, because it probably honestly wouldn't have been that good like to look at it right now,
but in your head you were like, this is the best thing I've ever done.
It was like Picasso made it. It was beautiful. But yeah, that was my funny little story because
that's crazy. I remember my mom getting so like mad at me because back then my number one used social media was Twitter.
As it should have been at the time.
Yeah.
That's so
I have to.
That's so accurate.
Yeah, so I remember I think I had made a Twitter account before with my email, and I forgot the password or something. Like there was just no way that I could get back into it. Because my phone number was gonna, I don't know, it was something like that. And so I used my mom's information. I used my mom's phone number, my mom's email, and I created my account. Huh?
Did you tell her?
No.
Did you? Oh.
I just used it. I didn't think she would mind. So I used my mom's information to create my Twitter. And that's when I entered my Fangirl era. So I was on Twitter 24/7. I was joining all of these watch parties, all of these like search parties, everything, right? And so my mom's phone was constantly going off, just like notification after notification. Like her phone was just like ding 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 ding. Like
she probably still has like emails.
Oh yeah,
thing to this day.
Yes, and my mom was like, Nicole, what's going on? And then I told her, I was like, well, I don't know, Mom. Like I just like didn't want to tell her, and
like, that's
finally
weird.
I just like turned the notifications off on her phone for Twitter or something like that. And I don't think to this day she knows that that's that's how it was.
She's like eating dinner. You're like.
yeah, but I remember it was crazy. Like there was just nonstop because I would be chatting with like other fans, you know, like on Twitter. They would be in like the UK or something, and I was in little Arizona. And we would be talking back and forth, and so I'd be talking for like hours with these people in different time zones and everything, and she just got so many notifications. She was so mad at me, but like I needed Twitter.
It's part of the experience.
Listen, if I didn't have Twitter, I could not live at that time. I needed Twitter to survive.
That's still me to this day.
Okay, I don't know. Twitter died in my head, but
no, it did. There's so many bad things happening on Twitter. I love the social media aspect of it because I feel like if social media wasn't a thing, then One Direction would not have blown up like it did. Like, I think social media really...
I think that's one of the things that pushed fangirling to its limits was the fact that social media was a thing.
And that was the perfect time to, like, really have an app like Twitter. Like, where you can just constantly say, something that you're thinking.
I just wish, like, Instagram and Twitter could go back to their roots, like, where you would, if you're following somebody, you would get their posts or their notifications and stuff, and if you had Twitter, you could be talking like live with a whole bunch of people, just like tweeting whatever you wanted.
It's not the same.
It's really not. It's really not just like shopping now.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I feel like since we covered all of the basic stuff about that, we have to dive into the most obvious part, the fan fiction.
Cringe.
It is cringe.
It's so cringe.
But it really like
it made it. Like that was the thing.
That was literature. That was Charles Dickens. That was Shakespeare.
Oh my god! No, literally, that was like the Wuthering Heights of our time.
Yeah. Jane Austen.
Okay, but honestly, as a 14, 15-year-old, I had no business reading any of that stuff. Like, there was no reason for me to be on Wattpad reading any of that stuff.
But, like, were those people our age writing that stuff, or was it older people?
Well, like, you know, like the After series.
Okay, yeah, I have a big gripe with that, because at least from my understanding, was like in her 30s, writing about 19-year-old Harry Styles, which is
and
so
wasn't she
gross.
married?
Yeah, with kids, I think. And like to do that and then to pursue an actual book publishing, which is like get your bag, I guess, but also and not that situation, you know.
Yeah, that's like really problematic.
And like the books weren't even that good, but the movies are even worse because like as a standalone fan fiction, they were okay.
Like they were whatever.
Yeah,
I think
okay-ish.
they were like they didn't have to be that long. I
Yeah.
think it could have all been condensed to like 2 books.
The storyline of them, it was like for its time not seen, you know, like college Harry,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
toxic college Harry, but the movies are just like really bad and they totally strayed from like the plot and like
I think that's another thing that happened with all of these fanfics is that people who wrote them did not like toxic dating culture was romanticized.
Oh yeah, and
Completely.
Harry Styles was the most toxic person on the planet, supposedly.
Apparently, which you look at Harry now and you're like, where?
Where?
So I feel like, you know, if people were writing or reading the things that we were looking at in Wattpad nowadays, they would be canceled or they would be told off.
And I guess I just wonder like how these tropes got started. Like why was my drunken mom selling me to One Direction to buy drugs?
Yeah, why was I like kidnapped as a 13-year-old and it was Zayn Malik
like forced to go on tour with them?
Yeah, like how would that even happen?
How did they come
like
up with these topics?
How would I get kidnapped and then forced to just like go on tour and then be okay with it? Because honestly, like at the end you would be okay
with your kidnapper, like
Stockholm syndrome. Yes. So I just don't understand.
It's crazy to me how some of those like things came up, but I also think
had we not read what we read, we wouldn't be the people that we are today.
I do think some of them were like actually good though.
Oh, for sure. There was some that I was like glued to. I was like, when are you publishing again?
There was some that I would like read up until like I stopped using Wattpad. Like until I got too old for it.
Like, once you like graduated from Wattpad.
Yeah. And like, okay, I want to get into specifics because there was this one about Luke Hemmings that I loved. It was okay, well there was 2. But one of them was discontinued, and I was so sad.
Wait, I read that. I read that too.
Okay, wait, which one though?
Well, which one are you talking about?
Okay, mine was called the Boyfriend App.
Okay, no, I don't think I read that one.
Oh, okay. Well,
I remember there being a discontinued.
All the good ones were discontinued. All of the really, really good ones got discontinued.
I think they just got tired of it. Maybe they're like, oh, this fame, I can't.
They were so good. But,
well, maybe in our 14-year-old brains they were good. Because I feel like if we went back and read it now, we would cringe.
Okay, yeah, probably. But the Boyfriend App was like really so bizarre. It was like
I wish I still had my Wattpad account so we could just like browse through. That should be a topic for another day. Just like going back and seeing all the cringe things.
The Boyfriend App was about this girl who I don't even know how it started. I don't remember specifics, but I think like her brother downloaded an app and it like somehow transformed this like man into his sister's life, and it was Luke. And he was like a robot, I guess, but they were trying to like teach him how to be human. And then eventually like he turned into a human, you know, like he developed feelings and like they fell in love or they were gonna fall in love or something. But like the way it was written, I was like, this is crazy. Like this is kind of good.
This could be like an actual movie.
And then the other one was called 55 Days with Luke Hemmings, and it was like a short story, but it was so sad because he died at the end.
I don't know why, but I can't remember specific plots of the ones that I read. All I remember was how smutty they were.
Oh yeah,
like XXX smutty. Like I don't think
our little minds.
Yeah, for like I think that's why we are the way that we are. But like, okay, I don't think being in a band and then seeing a bunch of 14-year-old people like write stuff like that about you without
And then in interviews when they would be like, we're gonna read some fan fiction about you, like you can tell it made them uncomfortable.
I feel like it can, okay, well, I guess it depends on the artist, because now in days we don't have fan fiction like we used to, but we definitely have like hypersexualization of people.
And that's
But I think depending on the person, you either are really into it or you absolutely hate it and you're uncomfortable.
There was 5 Seconds of Summer did like a Zoom interview, or like a just where they were talking to each other, and one of them had the idea to read fan fiction, and Michael has like a Wattpad account, so he like typed it in really fast, and he was like, let's read this one, 24 Hours with Luke Hemmings. And I read that one at one point, and I was like,
why do I feel like most of them were also about like Luke Hemmings?
They were. Nobody wrote about Michael or Ashton. Like there was some Callum ones, but there was
none for like Michael or I think I remember seeing like one for Ashton.
There was very few, and they were like not that good.
No. Yeah, you can tell like that most people were
Luke girls.
Luke or Callum girls. Yeah. Same thing with like One Direction. It was always Harry or Zayn.
Harry or Zayn, yeah. I'm not even gonna like sugarcoat it. I was into it, all of them.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like there was Louis ones that I absolutely loved. That I was like,
I don't remember seeing any of the Louis ones. It's because I guess my taste.
Big jump.
I guess I was just such a 5 Sauce girly that I only ever like stayed within the 5 Sauce like realm of fan fiction, and then once or twice looked at Zayn and Harry.
Yeah, I don't think I ever like actually read, maybe I did, like an actual Zayn one, or like a love triangle one, you know?
Oh, it's always a love triangle between like Harry and Zayn. And YN, you know.
YN.
YN.
My messy bun. I threw my hair up into a messy bun and I got ready.
We're not like other girls, you know, we don't wear makeup like that.
Okay, when you read YN, did you say YN, like, as that, or did you say Nicole? Like, did you say your own name?
So, I think I had to, at first, I would always read, like, YN, and then I would, like, start to consciously remind myself that it was my name. So, whenever I would see YN, I would just be like, Nicole. But in my head, I wanted to say YN. Because that's what it says. So, in my head, it was like, YN.
I think I did YN forever, and then I just ended up like skipping it completely. Like my brain just knew that it was supposed to be your name. So I was like, okay, well. I will say though that during COVID, like quarantining, I did dive back into Wattpad because...
Did you?
Yes, because on TikTok, because also during COVID is when TikTok like hit the rise too.
Oh, yeah.
And One Direction was so popular on TikTok. Like, I don't know why, like, randomly too, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I think I remember it for a little bit because that's also when
it was like
Harry's sweater was around.
Yeah.
And every
which is
girl
another way that
was
we
making. Yeah, because I think we were both making the sweater.
Yeah.
I don't know who mentioned it. I don't know if it was me or you that was
remember.
like, oh, I crochet. And you were like, I crochet too.
My first project, the little ambitious for never crocheting before. I'm gonna make a whole sweater.
Literally, me too.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew how to crochet from when I was, like, little.
Yeah.
That my mom wanted to entertain me with something, and she was like, here. And she, like,
crochet.
Yeah, she, like, bought me, like, a hook and yarn, and she was like, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I have the Harry sweater. I was gonna wear it, but it's a little hot for that. I think I remember it was, like, my first project ever. Yeah. Like, an actual crochet project. Yeah. And I just remember going fucking crazy over the summer, making so many little squares and attaching them. Yeah. Oh, girl.
Time to have a hobby? Quarantine. But, like, that One Direction, like, they were hitting their 10-year, like, anniversary. Like, that was when...
Speaking of anniversary.
Yes, today is December 3rd. It's the 12-year anniversary of 5 Seconds of Summer. Woo!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love you, clearly.
Yeah, so it was their anniversary. I feel like they were just hitting their comeback. Like, Liam was active on Twitter, and Niall was doing live streams all the time. Like, Louis is just always on Twitter, too. Like, they were just active, you know? And
everybody was going crazy.
Yeah. And that's why I downloaded Wattpad again, because... Where was he going with
It
that?
was like 2014 was coming back.
Yeah, it felt like old times were back. And I remember seeing on TikTok, they were being like, you have to read this one. It's about blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ooh. Like, it actually sounded like real books, you know? Like, actual books that I would have picked off of, like, a shelf and read. And, like, there was this one series that I did read that I loved. And I still remember every detail, like, now. It was just really good. It was like a movie in my head. Like an actual 3-part movie, you know? I don't want to say
like the whole trilogy.
Yeah, it was really good though. I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
You should read it.
I remember also the girlies being crazy. Do you remember being on Twitter back in the day and like everybody just going crazy because they saw the parents?
Oh yeah, like in the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
like at concerts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or do you remember how they used to do this thing where like if you met one of the boys, you would ask them to like hold your hand, and then people would get pictures of you with them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Or was that just a thing that came up on my feed?
I feel like, yeah, that was a thing. I mean, I think people still do that, like with their parents in the crowd.
I think they do. I just remember it was especially a popular thing to do back in the day because they would go to like every single show, so everybody was on the lookout for.
And didn't like Luke's mom like travel with them?
Liz?
Yeah, Liz.
Yeah.
She would travel with them, so people would see her all the time.
Yeah, she was like an influencer. Everybody wanted a picture with her.
I think I followed her at like
me
some
too.
point.
Me too, because she was
a photographer, right?
Yeah.
I think she did photography and like she would take like some pictures of them, but obviously like
it was more because of
yeah.
I remember that being such a thing, but I remember all the girlies would get like jealous.
Mm-hmm. Like the meet and greet photos.
Mm-hmm.
I truly like thought 14-year-old me had a chance with 19-year-old
No,
Callum.
literally,
So,
me too. Me too. If you don't know by now, I'm a Luke girl.
I'm a Callum girl.
I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point. But yeah, I remember like I was so convinced that I was gonna end up with like.
But
Luke.
your age gap with Luke is like closer than mine and Callum's.
Wait, how old are you? And
he's 5 years older than me.
He's 4 years older than me.
That's a year difference,
girl. In my head, it makes no difference. Because he was born in. Do you know what? My cousin and Luke have the exact same birthday.
Really?
Yes.
Like the exact to the date?
July 16, 1986.
Wow.
Like the exact same birthday. And you know what? In my head, I thought that was a sign.
You're like, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. This confirms it. But no, I remember, I just was so convinced that I was going to end up with Luke. Like, he was just going to see me in the crowd and be like, wow. Yeah. And it was just gonna be like, come on stage.
Even still, maybe not with Callum, but just like my celebrity crushes in general.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
if you met me, we would be together.
Exactly.
You would love it.
I saw a meme about this the other day, and it was something like, never giving anybody a chance because you don't want to like be in a relationship, but be convinced that your one celebrity crush would be in love with you if they give you a chance.
And they would.
And they totally would. I can't see that not happening. But apparently he's married now.
Yeah. Yikes.
If he ever breaks up with her though.
You're like, I'm here.
Hit me up. If I'm with somebody, I'm not.
Like getting proposed to at a concert. Ugh.
Bro, especially if
don't
it's
embarrass me.
especially if it was at like a 5 Sauce concert, I'd be like, we're not together.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Have you seen that TikTok that guy posted a couple days ago at a Nile concert? And he was like, POV, you're watching your girlfriend fall in love with another man in front of you. And she's like, ah, and I was like performing on stage. I just like, I've always made it known that if I ever get married, if I ever get married,
The big if.
like, my celebrity crushes come first.
Yes, exactly.
There's no discussion, no debate. That's just how it's gonna be. I love having, like, what's the words I'm trying to think of? Like, having something like that to grow up with, you know?
Yeah, I think it was something powerful for us to have that because it's something that no other generation I think had it before we did.
And, like, even if they did, like, obviously in the 90s or the 80s they had boy bands, but, like,
it wasn't the same. Because I feel like when social media was getting to what it was in 2014, now the celebrities had a way of interacting with you. So I remember on Twitter all of the girlies having like, oh, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Or like 2 out of 4 because they would like
interactions.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Because you would be able to interact with your artist.
And it like low-key made you famous a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
it really did. It really did. It brought you like other fans because they were like, oh well, if I interact with her, maybe he'll interact with me or something like that.
Exactly. I feel like it's still like that a little bit to this day, like depending on like what fandom you're in probably. But like I know people on like 5 Seconds of Summer Twitter are still like, Ashton liked or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, but also, whoa. I truly probably would react the same. I'd be like, Ashton liked mine too.
I feel like I would tell you. You know, I'd tell like the people closest to me like, hey Luke, follow me. But obviously I wouldn't.
Bro, a screenshot on the close friends.
No, yeah, probably on my close friends. But I wouldn't be like out and about and yelling at everybody.
Because then it would be weird. Because then he's like gonna see all of that and be like, oh, okay.
Yikes.
Unfollow.
Unlike you. I take that back.
Do you remember when he was Luke as a penguin?
Yes! I remember that so well.
That's so cute. I remember when he changed it and everyone was crying, screaming and crying.
I think I remember, I don't know if his name is still like that, but I remember his name was like Hook Lemmings for a long time.
Or that one Halloween when they all dressed up in like the leather vest and like the long hair and they all made their profile pictures and they like changed it to their like stage names.
Yes. I remember that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I think I remember taking it as far, I think I told you this story, back when like Kik was a thing. Do you remember Kik?
Yeah.
So Kik was still a thing, and I remember I was like chatting with a boy, and it was back when I was like in high school, so obviously I couldn't like be on dating apps, but I was, so I had to like lie or something. I don't know, but I remember my name on Kik was Nicole Hemmings. Oh, because I have taken it that far. I was just so convinced.
I will tell you after.
Oh my god, but yeah, I remember talking to this guy through Kik, and he was like, he wanted to ask me to be his girlfriend or something. And he said, he like said my name as it was on Kik, so he was like, Nicole Hemmings, will you be my girlfriend? And I was like, block. I don't think I ever answered him after that. I was like, this is embarrassing.
Nicole Hemmings, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that. I think I like changed it after that because I was like, that's embarrassing.
You're like, wait, that is crazy.
That's very crazy. I think that's when me cayó el 20. I was like, okay, this is...
Maybe I need to
gotta turn it down a notch. Yeah.
I think when I was in like maybe 8th grade, there was this guy that I did sports with, and he had this big old crush on me, and I was not into it at all. But I was like, Callum is the love of my life. And there was a screenshot I had found, I think on Tumblr, I don't remember, probably, or Pinterest or something. Because Pinterest was also a big one for me.
Do you remember We Heart It?
Yeah. Is that still an app? Or like a website?
Know.
I don't know, Polyvore? Do you remember Polyvore? That's another thing too.
Oh my goodness.
Fan fictions had outfits that
you
were wearing at the beginning.
And you had like those insert a picture here of like what we would see.
Like, it'd be like POV, you're going, not even POV. POV wasn't a thing yet.
It was like, I got ready in the morning and I took a shower. I put on my usual mascara because I don't wear a lot of makeup and lip gloss.
It was Imagine. Imagine you're backstage with Niall.
Oh, you're talking about just like the memes. Yeah, I was talking about like in the fanfiction where they describe exactly what they were.
Like a link.
Yes, a link, and then you would click it and take it to like the actual outfit that you were wearing.
Yeah,
I remember that. But yeah, that it was like you're going on a date with Niall to the movies.
Or that one where it's like, imagine Niall crawls in your ear and you say stop.
Oh. Not the crawls in your ear.
There's a bumper sticker. I was like, we should get that. Because imagine a car in front of you has that, and you're like trying to read it, and you're like,
I'm gonna fucking cry.
So this guy had a big crush on me.
Wow. Anyway,
And there's a screenshot of Callum on a FaceTime with Luke, and Luke was like the smaller box on the top.
So you like photoshopped it?
I didn't even Photoshop it. I just cropped it a little bit, so like it was just like Luke's shoulder or something, or like his shirt or something. And I was like, yeah, this is my boyfriend. And I think I hit the same point as you, where I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
weird date. I think to this day, I've said that so many times to this day, but like I feel like that guy never knew that he was like an actual like celebrity. Like I think he actually thought
that it was your boyfriend.
Callum was my boyfriend, and I was like,
That's crazy.
that's so embarrassing.
That
And
is-
this is the first time I've ever told this story
I
ever.
think that like the kick story, I think I've only told you and like one other person, because I was so embarrassed about it that I was like, I'm never telling anybody.
And now it's on the internet.
And now everybody knows. Luke, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry for like stealing your last name.
I'm like, Callum, thank you for saving me from a scary situation by being my fake boyfriend. Like,
No, literally, thank you for saving me from embarrassing myself again, because I think that's when I realized I had gone too far.
the turning point.
Yes, that was the turning point when I was like, okay, I gotta change. I gotta change something. But you probably wore the outfits. I forgot about all that stuff.
I know.
That's crazy.
I see them on like TikTok, like the slides sometimes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, that's so. We would make the ugliest outfits, like
The galaxy leggings.
hideous outfits, like
Literally.
like,
Like who let us?
that era too. It was like chevron, mint, like those
Dude.
low vans, like the
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. What else is it? Like mustaches. Like
I think that
those
was, like,
bar
the-
sunglasses. Like,
Yes. I remember all of that too. Ooh.
I feel like Zoella really had an impact on that.
Why was I about to say her name too? I was like, Zoella. I think all of like the British YouTubers had a
Yeah.
really big impact on us. Like Dan and Phil. God dang.
The cat whiskers.
Mhm.
But yeah, Zoella and Bethany Moda like invented
Bethany
the messy
Moda.
bun. They invented it. They pioneered the
remember
messy
that,
bun. Like truly, no one was doing it like Bethany Moda at the time.
God, yeah.
She set the path for those get ready with me TikTokers. She.
What is she doing now? Whatever happened to her? I think I remember seeing a video about her recently.
I did too.
And
I know she was on Dancing with the Stars.
She was?
Yeah, I don't know how far she made it, but I think she was a pretty good dancer, and she had a pretty good pro. But I don't know if she still does social
That's
media.
crazy.
She's so pretty too.
Mhm.
Still, she's so pretty. Like, she just like her fashion. If you looked up a picture of her, like that was what the fashion was at this time.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't give One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer enough credit for how much they actually like impacted.
Like the fashion industry.
Yeah.
Do you remember when She Looks So Perfect came out and like American Apparel ran out of underwear? Do you remember that? How like everybody
Yeah.
and their mother ran
Was-
to American
yeah.
Apparel, and then they like went out of business
Like a
a little bit
sponsor.
later.
A free sponsor and a
Free
$5
sponsor,
one.
yeah. Just
That's
because,
still played on the radio to this day.
Yeah, yeah. Like I still jam out to that song, but I remember like when that came out, I didn't even know what American Apparel was,
I didn't either.
and I remember I heard the song, and I was like, American Apparel, and I like googled it, and I was like, I need this.
You were the target audience.
But yeah, I remember that happening when I was in like high school, and everybody on Twitter was like, American Apparel was like where you shopped. It was like
Yeah.
Urban Outfitters and American Apparel.
Yeah, you're right.
Basically.
You're right.
Yeah.
In my school, though, I feel like it wasn't that popular to be a fan of One Direction or 5 Seconds of Summer.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there was like some people or like casual listeners, but I'm like one of those people. I'm sure you can tell by now, by how long we've been friends, that when I like something, I fully like
immerse myself in it.
It's crazy how we met like when I was 19 and you were like 20 or something.
Yeah.
But all of these experiences were like
We've had at the exact same time.
Yeah.
We've all like, that's why I'm like, a year is not really that big of a difference, because we basically grew up doing the exact same stuff. We were in the same rooms together, and we didn't even know each other.
Yeah, we both went to the Where We Are tour.
Yes.
And that's so... Do you remember when we found out? We were like, I was there.
And I was there too. There was like 5 of us there.
And so many people were pitching in. I was there too.
Yeah. And then like, she knew my cousin.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even know my cousin was my cousin.
I was like, I was like, wait a minute, you know Nicole? Yeah, she's my cousin. I was like, that's crazy.
No, she's not.
I was like, she's my sister.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, and then you came up to me like the other day in chapter, like after that in chapter, and you were like, do you know this person? And I was like, yeah, it's my cousin.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my god, I have to confirm.
I was like, that's so crazy.
Kind of.
What? Yeah. That's
Crazy, you have the same last name.
Yeah. That happened in like 2020, and I didn't meet her cousin until July of this year.
Like
Or
September. Can you imagine if we would have been friends in high school?
Unstoppable.
Dude.
The most annoying duo. People had been sick
We
of
would
us.
have people bleeding in the ears, like.
It would come on like the radio or like at the school dance. and
No,
we'd be
because
like,
we would have done fundraisers to fly to like the UK to do one of like the 5 Seconds of Summer
we
concerts
should
there.
still do that.
Okay, yeah, but like, you know, we would have done that. Like, you don't understand how bad I wanted to fly out to like Australia or the
It
UK.
was every girl's dream to go to London during this era too. That's
Yeah.
something else you forget to mention.
Well, yeah.
Like,
London was like
Everybody-
the place to be at this time, and if you were already in London when this was
Everyone
happening,
was
you
jealous.
were, you were just living life.
yeah.
Because everybody and their mother was having concerts in London.
Yeah, that's where Five Sauce like really
Hit it
rose.
off. Yeah.
Like One Direction was from there. The British YouTubers were from there.
Yeah,
like-
everybody was in London, like the United Kingdom in general.
So another thing too that like really shows how big of fans that like it still follows us to this day is that we drove to LA for Harry in the middle of the week.
And I was so sick. I was so
Nicole
fucking
was sick to her, like literally.
I was so sick, dude. I remember I had not gotten sick since before COVID. Like, I have a pretty strong immune system, but it was right after I started working full time.
I remember you were like, I'm nervous.
Working
and I
full
was
time
like,
is a fucking scam, okay, y'all? Don't do it. Because ever since I started working full time, I keep getting
things
sick.
just are falling apart.
No, literally, don't work full time. Anyway, but yeah, so I had gotten my job, and I remember we were like, we have to go.
The busiest week of my life. And remember,
Literally.
we bought those tickets impulsively. Like, I signed up for pre-sale just for fun.
Yeah, we
like,
bought
there was no reason.
We bought the tickets impulsively, and then we kind of like forgot about them, and we were like,
like 2 weeks before, we were like, OMG, we're going to LA. Like, we
Yeah.
should probably plan this.
yes. And I remember telling my boss, because I was in my 90-day probation, and I was like, hey, so I kind of forgot I booked a trip to LA way before you guys hired me.
Booked a trip.
Yeah. And so yeah, she gave me the time off, and we had to get like a rental car because neither of our cars could go to
That
LA.
was the most stressful part. The
I think that was
cars.
the most stressful and expensive part.
It was so expensive.
I will never do that again.
I
I would take the bus.
I would do it again because it was like a really good car. Like the
It was a good
expensive part of it.
But mine
was
was the windshield wipers; those did not work. Do you
Yeah,
remember that?
they were broken.
Like the night, because we were taking turns, and I remember I drove into LA, and it was raining,
Yeah.
and I like could not see.
when I finished making the vlog, we can put it on
By
the
the way.
YouTube channel, like this channel.
Yeah, we recorded a vlog for that entire trip, and it's been in editing this
That's
whole
because
year.
It is a 3-day, 24/7.
Now you graduated. I graduated.
We literally recorded until the second we reserved the car, until the second we dropped the car off.
We recorded our delirious moments in the car when we were getting here, as we were so exhausted, and I was so sick. When I kid you not, you guys, I was blowing my nose every like 20 seconds.
And everything was in your tote bag, remember? You were like, it's in the bag. My nasal spray in the bag.
Tissues in the bag.
And every time I was like, okay.
We went to the beach and it was freezing.
But we
And
were
those seagulls were like
flying over. I I think though that road trip was where we came up with the idea to do a podcast.
It really was, because we were starting to talk about everything and nothing at all.
Yeah, and we were like, this would be good to record.
And I think that's when we like kept playing into our delusions, because Luke wasn't married yet, so we were like, you could totally do that.
And that's when we like really manifested our dream.
Oh my god, that's what solidified my belief in manifestation.
Yeah, I was not a manifester.
Story time. Story time.
Okay, I want to tell it. Okay. Okay, so because we bought the tickets so last minute, we were literally third row from the roof. Like you make it sound so bad, but it's so true. No, like the stairs, we were walking up and the stairs kept going like this. It literally felt like we were climbing a mountain because we were going like vertical up.
And then I remember we sat and we were like leaning forward.
Like out of breath.
I was like, girl, if I stand up, I'm just gonna like fall over.
We were like, it's not that bad. And then the camera, the venue was like this big.
Yeah, like in person, it seemed a lot bigger. And then when we tried to record, the stage was like this.
We were like, at least there's the screens, but the roof was also like,
yeah, you could see like the big old like house lights and everything.
And we went up and down those stairs like 5 or 6 times.
But before this, when we were on our way to California,
on recording,
yes, because we recorded this, we said like we need to manifest closer seats.
And yeah, we were like, we're gonna get closer seats. We're gonna be in the pit. Like no matter what happens, we're gonna be in the pit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so fast forward, we're at the concert.
We're sitting in our chairs for like the 10th time we walked up.
We're having another delirious, because this entire trip was like a fever dream. Like all we did was laugh.
We were like making the dumbest jokes, but they were so funny.
Yeah, we were nonstop laughing. I couldn't stop blowing my nose. I was just having the best time of my life.
That might have been like one of my favorite concerts because first of all, the experience, the road, the road trip, being on the open road.
You know, life is a highway.
It truly was a highway. The pictures, meeting Becca, the food, like everything about it worked out in our favor, 100%. Besides the windshield wipers, everything worked out for us.
No, literally, that entire trip solidified my belief in like manifestation and having, like when you say you're gonna have a good time, you're gonna have a good time.
Like if you go in with good vibes come out of it.
No, literally, exactly.
And yeah, so we were sitting at the top.
We were literally just poking fun at the fact that it was so high up. Like we weren't even mad about it.
We were just like, haha.
Yeah, we were like, oh my god,
it could be worse. We could be back there. I'm gonna send you the TikTok.
I remember
because we recorded a TikTok. I never posted it, but
you should post that because that's so funny. Yeah, I remember that we were like, you know, we could be them, and there was like 2 people sitting on the very last
a couple
row,
seats away,
and they were like.
And those tickets were like expensive, right?
Yeah, they were like 120 something
for that far away.
For like nosebleed tickets.
Yeah,
crazy. But anyway,
so we're sitting up there,
and then this mom and her daughter like approached us.
They were like, I just thought they were like going to their seats.
I thought they were just gonna go to their seats too, and then they come and they just plop right in front of us,
and
the mom is like,
but the mom,
she was like, I need to catch my breath. She was just like,
and we were like, yeah, it's like a far.
Yeah, because we went through the same thing, but they hadn't said anything to us. Like that was it. They sat in front of us, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they like really did anything that made us like pay attention to them.
Yeah, they just kind of sat down.
They turned around.
And yeah, the mom like sat down and she was just kind of like taking a second to compose herself, and we were just kind of still doing our thing.
Yeah, just giggling.
And then the daughter turned around, I think.
She like stood up in the aisleway, and she was like, what did she say? I don't even remember specifically.
I just remember they like approached us. So at that point, the girl like. The mom stayed sitting right in front of us, and the girl like came and she like went into the stair area, and then I think she came and like stood right next to you.
Yeah.
And then the mom was like, "Do you guys want free tickets?" Like,
yeah, she said it like that. Do you guys want some free tickets? And I was like,
yeah, and I remember I like looked at you and you were like, "What's the catch?" Like we just didn't know.
It sounded sketchy because I was like,
the way she said it, she was like, "You guys want free tickets?" It kind of sounded like a drug dealer or some shit.
It sounded like those what is it called? The knockoff t-shirts we bought.
Damn! You know, mine has not fallen apart.
I haven't worn mine yet. I'm scared.
I've worn mine to the gym, lady, to the gym.
That's how you know.
They're good quality. Knockoffs, but good quality.
But yeah, so she says, like, do you guys want free tickets? And
yeah, after she, like, composed herself. The daughter didn't even say anything. I think she was just standing next to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we were blocked
She was in a hurry, though, because she was like, come on, Mom, like, just do it. Just,
They kept, like, being in a hurry. I think they wanted to, like, send one of us the tickets or something.
She was trying to send us the tickets. Like, or she sent it to me. Like, I took pictures of them.
I don't know, but at the end, I think the lady was like, there's no catch. And I think that's when the girl came in. She was like, no, we just happened to get better seats in the pit or something.
She said, we just bought, like, closer seats, so we have these 2 free tickets. Do you want them?
Yeah, and we were like, well, how much do we owe you? And she was like, nothing, just take them.
And she was like, think of it as an early Christmas, because the concert was in November. So she was like, an early Christmas.
So like, think of it as early Christmas. And we were like, of course. So the girl, like, for some reason the tickets couldn't be sent.
Yeah, she was trying to, like, email them to me, but it wasn't
going through. So she was like, you know what, just follow us. Yeah. And they walked us all the way to the seats. So we went from
up here.
We literally went from, like, 3 rows from the roof to, like, 2 rows from pit.
Yeah. It was
insane.
I have chills thinking about it.
Yeah, I remember it. I think it's saved in my stories from that time.
Yeah.
It was, you can see the difference. And then we saw Harry Styles super close.
Yeah, he was, like, right there.
He was literally right there. And I was like, bless that girl and her mom.
It was crazy because the people that were sitting, like, in the area, they were like, oh, did the lady and her daughter give you those tickets? And we were like, yeah, they just said, like, it was for free.
Oh, and then the lady, she was like, yeah, we came to find the people who were sitting the furthest up, but there was still people behind us.
So we just got, like, really lucky.
They just chose us. I think we just looked really approachable or something. We were like, me with, like, my stuffed up nose, like, yeah.
with our boas. We were like,
oh,
and our teas, we had our drinks, right?
Oh, yeah, they tasted, like, really bad.
I really liked mine.
I can't remember what mine was.
I think you had, like, hot chocolate and I had, like, a tea, but it was freezing outside, so I was like,
I think that's why I got hot chocolate, because it was so cold. I don't know, but she was like, yeah, we just wanted to find people who were the furthest away, and I was like, wow, well, we're not the furthest.
Yeah, and that's what they told us too, like, the people in the area. They were like, oh, were you guys the people at the top? And we were like, yeah, kind of. They were like, congratulations, or something, like, saying, like, yeah, you guys got it. And we were like, yeah, we did. And then the concert started, like, right then.
Yeah.
And, like, the opening act came out, but it was so crazy.
It was insane. And then that's when we were like, bro, we did this.
Yeah.
Like, we manifested this.
I was like, people are so nice.
Yeah.
That's such a nice thing to do. Like, she could have just not said anything and just let those tickets...
she could have just let those tickets go to waste. Mm-hmm. But that was insane. That was the best.
Yeah, and, like, we'd been saying it, and then it came true, and the whole time after, Nicole and I were like...
Yeah, after we were like, if that can happen, anything can happen.
I'm like, if this ever reaches that girl and her mother, like, thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys made our whole trip. Like, literally, that was insane.
It's just, like, I don't know, because I feel like at places like that, at concerts like that, you know people are going to be appreciative of stuff that. Like, it's just, it doesn't go for granted.
Actually, I think when an artist has a fandom, you know most of those people are going to be at least appreciative of something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And, like, I can't even explain how many friends I've made because of One Direction and 5 Seconds. Like, Harry, like, my graduation cap was Harry, and then I didn't have anyone to sit with at graduation, and this girl was like, I love Harry Styles!
And then you made a friend.
Yeah, and we were together all graduation. Like, it's just so cool how... Yeah. I don't know, like, it's automatically you're friends with these people.
And I feel like at concerts, like, specifically, like, Harry, 5 Sauce concerts, you can approach any of those people.
And they're gonna be cool.
Because at least, you know, they have, like, that one thing in common. Yeah. Especially if they're from, like, our era of fangirl.
Yeah, like, if they're older... I don't think it always is the same for, like, people who are just fans of, like, One Direction after they separated. Because if you're, like... I don't know. Sometimes it's been, like, a known thing that if you're just a Harry Styles fan, it's not the same as if you're a One Direction Harry fan, which is wild. Like, that's a whole different topic, but...
For a different day.
Yeah, but, like, regardless, everyone's still friends, you know?
Yeah, I think that's one of the, like, my favorite things about it. And I wish, like, to this day, we could figure out a way to make that come back because I miss it. Like, I really do miss it.
Like, there's no bands that are doing like boy
What
bands.
that
right
what?
now.
Yeah,
like that kind of boy band. You know, I miss the idea of like band. Like, I know Five Sauce was in a boy band, but they had like the same.
Yeah, they really wanted to be
like
rock and alternative so bad. But they
worked.
I mean, they were, but it's not like to the degree that I think they wanted to be.
Yeah, they wanted to like.
They wanted to be like Green Day Part 2.
I still like argue that they're not a boy band though, because
I don't think they're a boy band. They're not One Direction.
No, but they're also not like AC/DC, you know?
Exactly. I think they just brought like a new era of the boy band.
Of just being like a good-looking group of guys that play instruments.
Just guys
like,
being dudes.
Just dudes being bros. I know they don't make that music anymore, like that kind of music.
I really wish they did, though.
Sounds Good, Feels Good was like such a good punk.
Oh my god. Do you remember like the Rock Out With Your Socks Out era? And I'm so good. Girl, I miss that.
So like they're still so good like at performing and stuff like that. But like I really okay, so like when Calm came out, I feel like that whole era was robbed because of COVID, because that was gonna be their rock, their alt like era. That was gonna be their Live from the Vault era. Like it just would have been so dark and grungy. I feel like they skipped all of that because they went from Youngblood, which was like the new wave, like synthetic whatever, to the grungy dirty Calm, to like spiritual.
I remember.
Like,
it's like
Take My Hand. You know,
they're like boys dressed in white in the desert sort of vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Which I love. Don't get me wrong. Anything that those guys do, I'm gonna eat it up. But...
Yes, but you know, I wish we could have lived through those eras more.
Yeah, especially I wish I was like their age during that era. Like
me too.
17.
Oh my! If I was Luke's age, I would have been unstoppable. Are you kidding? I would have been a groupie. For sure, girl.
They're hooked up with anybody and everybody.
I don't give a fuck.
Supposedly.
I think we both know the answer, though. I think everybody knows the answer.
No, like, Five Sauce, if you're watching this,
confirm in the comments.
It wasn't you. It was a different time.
Y'all are taken now. I get it. You know, you're changed men, but
like we're here.
We witnessed you. No, but for real though,
had I been,
had I been like of age, I would have been unstoppable. Especially if I had money, bro. If I had money during that time,
if we were like working,
had we been like nepo babies during that time?
If remember the Abigail Breslin song
for Michael?
That song was so good.
Low-key, yeah, what a banger.
Even like,
I remember back in the day I was like hating on her because Michael, you know.
But like low-key, everyone knew it was kind of like it was a good song.
It was a good song. It was a banger.
Maybe not like a good song, but like it was like it was vibey.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna listen to it, and then I'm like,
low-key.
Kind of good.
No, yeah,
she killed it.
She did kill it. But yeah, I remember all those like little things that would come out because it wasn't confirmed that it was Michael.
Yeah, but
remember
then
on
like
Twitter, everybody was like, "Well, they just went out,"
and then all of the references in the song
were like Michael.
You wish your band was all time low, like. Like he had a "To the Moon" like tattoo, and she said, "You wish you could fly to the moon." That was
a good ass song.
No, but what is it called? When you write a song about somebody, a call out song. That was like Easter eggs.
Yeah,
that was an Easter egg.
She like invented it, bro.
But yeah, and now Michael's like a dad. Like he's a father.
I saw a TikTok about this the other day, and it was like Michael. Or no, it was directed at his daughter, that it was like, you literally have leverage to do whatever you want. Like, whatever you want. Like, if you want pink hair, your dad literally cannot say no.
His digital footprint is insane.
I do remember when they would, like, within themselves, they would, like, out themselves, be like, oh, they would talk about condoms, and it's like, oh yeah, Michael needs the magnums, or something like that.
Their old interviews were so crazy. Like, did they have a PR team? Were they media trained?
Dude, definitely not. I do not think so.
And we'll see what era Harry's in now because of his bald hair.
Oh my god.
Louis's killing it though. Louis and Niall,
Yeah.
they're doing good.
Up till right now, I think that was one of the most interesting times I had.
It was just like so carefree.
It really was. That's why I'm like saying if we had the financial freedom at that time, that would have been insane. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for staying.
Thank you for listening to us talk about this. I hope some people can
relate to us.
Yeah.
If you do, let us know. That'd be so cool to make friends. Yeah, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you tune in next time. We'll talk about some more interesting topics. Yeah, we really just wanted to talk about a very prominent time in our life.
It's very essential for
to who we are as people nowadays. The internet shaped Wattpad shaped us.
That's such a bad thing to say.
Twitter.
We are the products.
We are the products of like Vine, Twitter, Wattpad.
No, literally, that's crazy to me.
YouTube. Early YouTube. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Catch us next time where we talk about some more interesting stuff.
Make sure you subscribe, like and comment, and follow us on TikTok.
But yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Bye!
Feliz Navidad para todos ustedes. Jingle bell, jingle motherfucker. De nuevo papi, alca dándote lo que te toca.